What happens back a billionaire CEO's 29-year-old son assaults a 71-year-old Vietnam adept in a restaurant parking lot, a fresh walks into adjudicator Frank Caprio's attorneys with 8 corporate lawyers creating a bank of legal intimidation. This advantageous man is about to apprentice that some advocate armies backfire, some aggregation funds are illegal to use, and some buzz calls to the SEC crash your father's banal by 40% in a single afternoon. But what makes this case absolutely devastating isn't aloof the advance on a veteran or the antic acknowledged team. It's what happened back adjudicator Caprio made one buzz alarm to the Securities and Exchange Commission that triggered a federal investigation, acquired Sterling Industries' banal to plummet, cost shareholders billions, and afflicted the billionaire CEO ancestor to abandon in disgrace. It's a Thursday morning in Providence, municipal court. The arcade is buzzing with apprehension because chat has spread that article aberrant is about to happen. Marcus Sterling, age 29, son of billionaire CEO Robert Sterling of Sterling Industries, faces accuse of assault and array on an aged person stemming from an adventure at the Capital Grille bristles nights ago. The victim is 71-year-old James Martinez, a decorated Vietnam adept who was accepting dinner with his wife for their 45th wedding anniversary. Back Marcus, bashed and belligerent, got into an altercation with the aide over parking priority. When James affably appropriate Marcus calmed down, Marcus shoved him violently against a car, causing James to abatement and suffer a burst collar cartilage and severe bruising. But what makes this morning extraordinary isn't aloof the charges, it's what's about to airing through those courtroom doors. The door's accessible and Marcus Sterling enters, but he doesn't access alone. Behind him, bushing the absolute aisle, are 8 lawyers. Not one attorney, not 2. 8 attorneys in big-ticket suits carrying briefcases effective information like accumulated acknowledged SWAT team. Lead attorney Christopher Blackwell from Morrison & Blackwell, one of New York's best-celebrated accumulated law firms, walks anon abaft Marcus. Behind him, 7 added attorneys fan out, demographing up an absolute row of benches. They're all cutting agnostophotic suits, all accustomed identical leather portfolios with the Sterling Industries logo arresting in gold. The beheld is shocking. It looks like a corporate board meeting, not a criminal proceeding. Several bodies in the gallery absolutely gasp. Adjudicator Caprio watches this access with careful attention. His accomplished eyes immediately acquainted this for what it is: acknowledged intimidation. The bulletin is clear. We accept absolute resources, unlimited firepower, and we're here to overwhelm you. Marcus himself is dressed in big-ticket charcoal suit, designer watch, altogether styled hair. He walks with the accidental airs of someone who's never faced absolute aftereffects for anything in his life. He doesn't look concerned, he looks bored. The bailiff calls the case, the accompaniment of Rhode Island against Marcus Robert Sterling. Charges, assault and array on an elderly person. Adjudicator Caprio reviews the case file, afresh looks up at the sea of attorneys now occupying a significant portion of his courtroom. Mr. Sterling, before we begin, I charge to understand something. How many attorneys are representing you today? Christopher Blackwell stands smoothly. Your Honor, I'm Christopher Blackwell, advance counsel. With me are 7 accessory attorneys from Morrison & Blackwell, forthwith specialists in assorted areas of law relevant to this case. Adjudicator Caprio's eyebrows are rising slightly. 8 attorneys for a simple assault and array case? Your Honor, Mr. Sterling's ancestors has significant interests to protect. We believe in absolute representation. I see. And who is paying for this? Thorough representation. Blackwell doesn't hesitate. Sterling Industries, Your Honor. Mr. Sterling's father, Robert Sterling, is the CEO and majority shareholder. The company maintains a legal aegis armamentarium to controlling family members. Adjudicator Caprio's expression becomes absolutely still. Sterling Industries is a publicly traded company, is it not? Yes, Your Honor, listed on the New York Stock Exchange under ticker symbol ESTROL. And this publicly traded company is paying for 8 accompaniment attorneys to defend the CEO's son in a criminal assault case. Blackwell accoutring slightly. It's within the company's legal framework to accommodate accommodated legal assistance for executives, Your Honor. Judge Caprio makes a note but doesn't pursue it yet. Mr. Sterling, how do you plead? Marcus almost looks up, not guilty. Mr. Blackwell, I assume you'd like to address the court. Blackwell stands, and what follows is a masterclass in corporate accoutrate legal intimidation. Your Honor, we move to dismiss all charges based on bereft evidence, improper badge procedure, abuse of my client's rights during arrest, and Judge Caprio holds up his hand. Mr. Blackwell, we haven't even considered the evidence yet. You're filing motions to dismiss based on action you haven't seen. Another attorney stands. Your Honor, I'm David Chen, specialist in criminal procedure. I've advised the arrest annals and found 17 procedural irregularities. That adjudicator interrupts again. Mr. Chen, sit down. Mr. Blackwell, control your team. This isn't a corporate boardroom. This is a courtroom. One attorney speaks at a time. A third attorney Baffett stands. Your Honor, if I may address the procedural. No, you may not. Sit down. If you're not subscribed, hit that button right now because what Adjudicator Caprio does next will show you what happens when corporate legal browbeating meets a judge who won't be bullied. Adjudicator Caprio addresses the prosecutor. Amuse present the evidence. Assistant District Attorney Rachel Kim stands. Your Honor, 5 nights ago, at about 9:30 p.m., Mr. Sterling was at the Capital Grille in downtown Providence. Security footage shows him arriving in his Lamborghini already visibly intoxicated. He became aggressive with the valet over parking priority. Immediately, 2 of Marcus's attorneys stand simultaneously. Objection, Your Honor. That's adjudicator's articulation cuts through. Sit down, both of you. Miss Kim has the floor. The attorneys sit, but the bulletin is clear. They're going to object to everything, creating anarchy and delay. Adakim continues. Mr. James Martinez, a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran, was a break in the restaurant with his wife after their ceremony dinner. He witnessed Mr. Sterling's aggressive behavior and affably appropriate he calmed down. Mr. Sterling responded by shoving Mr. Martinez berserk against a vehicle, causing him to abatement and suffer a burst collarbone and severe bruising. Another attorney stands. Your Honor, we disagree with that characterization of. Sit down. Miss Kim, please continue. Your Honor, we have security footage, multiple witnesses, and Mr. Martinez's medical records. The evidence is clear. Adjudicator Caprio signals the clerk. Let's see the security footage. Immediately, 3 attorneys stand at once. Your Honor, we object to the chain of custody. Sit down, all of you. I will assemble every single one of you in contempt if you arrest again. The courtroom is tense. The 8 attorneys are waging a policy of constant disruption, aggravating to derail the proceedings through arduous accouteric objections. The security footage plays. It shows Marcus's Lamborghini arriving. Marcus exits acutely intoxicated, stumbling slightly. He's gesturing aggressively at the valet. James Martinez appears in frame, walking with his aged wife. James approaches calmly, easily visible, accouteric aggravating to de-escalate. Marcus turns against him, points aggressively, afresh shoves James hard with both hands. James falls backward adjoin a anchored car and crumples to the ground. The footage is absolutely clear. There's no ambiguity. When it ends, Adjudicator Caprio turns to Marcus. Mr. Sterling, that video shows you berserk assaulting an aged man. What do you accept to say? Marcus shrugs. He got in my face. I dedicated myself. Judge Caprio's jaw tightens. Mr. Sterling, the video shows Mr. Martinez standing several anxiety abroad with his hands visible. You attacked him unprovoked. Christopher Blackwell stands immediately, and this time 4 other attorneys bend with him, creating a wall of suits. Your Honor, we have expert assemblage who will affirm that the video bend is deceptive, that Mr. Martinez was absolutely the aggressor. That Adjudicator Caprio stands up, his voice thundering through the courtroom. Enough, all of you sit bottomward now. Now, the attorneys sit, but Marcus smirks slightly. The browbeating action is working. They're axis the courtroom into chaos. Judge Caprio calls James Martinez to speak. The aged adept stands slowly, his arm in a sling, his shoulder clearly still, causing him pain. Mr. Martinez, amuse acquaint the cloister what happened. James's articulation is quiet but steady. Your Honor, my wife and I were celebrating our 45th anniversary. We were walking to our car, back I saw this young man. He gestures adjoin Marcus, screaming at the valet, calling him names, aggressing him. I absolved over and said, "Sir, amuse calm down. There's no charge for this." He looked at me and said, "Mind your own business, old man." I said, "I'm aloof aggravating to help." That's back he shoved me.
I fell against the car. I heard article crack in my shoulder. The affliction was immediate. Judge Caprio asks gently, Mr. Martinez, how has this abrasion afflicted you? Your Honor, I'm 71 years old. I served in Vietnam. I formed as an artisan for 40 years. This burst collar cartilage agency, I can't assignment on cars anymore. It was my retirement hobby. I can't lift my grandson. My wife has to advise me dress because I can't accession my arm. Marcus absolutely yawns visibly during the victim's testimony. Adjudicator Caprio's eyes flash with anger. Mr. Sterling, did you just yawn while Mr. Martinez was describing his injuries? Marcus shrugs. I mean, it's unfortunate, but accidents happen. My dad will address him a check. Problem solved. The arcade erupts. Judge Caprio has to alarm for order. Mr. Sterling, this wasn't an accident. You deliberately assaulted him. Christopher Blackwell stands anon, and this time all 8 attorneys bend with him in absolute choreographed unison. It's clearly a positive intimidation. Blackwell's articulation is smooth. Your Honor, my applicant is alms to accomplish Mr. Martinez, accomplished financially. Sterling Industries is able to action a substantial settlement. Adjudicator Caprio's face becomes affection of controlled fury. Mr. Blackwell, are you attempting to buy your way out of bent accuse in my courtroom? Your Honor, we're simply offering applied resolution. Sit down, all 8 of you. Now, they sit, but the damage is done. They've angried the proceedings into a circus. Adjudicator Caprio makes a decision. He looks at the 8 attorneys, afresh at Marcus, afresh at Christopher Blackwell. Mr. Blackwell, you declared that Sterling Industries, a publicly traded company, is advantageous for all 8 of these attorneys to defend Mr. Sterling in a bent case. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. It's within the company's acknowledged, and Sterling Industries is traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Yes, Your Honor. Meaning it has bags of shareholders who own pieces of that company. Yes, Your Honor. And those shareholders' money, their investment, is activity acclimated to pay 8 corporate attorneys to avert the CEO's son for drunkenly assaulting a 71-year-old veteran over a parking space. Blackwell shifts uncomfortably. Your Honor, the company has ample discretion and broad fund discretion to use actor funds for the CEO's son's personal criminal defense. Adjudicator Caprio picks up his phone. Clerk, get me the Securities and Exchange Commission Enforcement Division on the line. Marcus sits up beeline for the Aboriginal time. Wait, what? Christopher Blackwell's face goes pale. Your Honor, you don't think that's necessary? Mr. Blackwell, you just accepted in public court that a publicly traded aggregation is using shareholder funds to pay for 8 attorneys to avert the CEO's son in a criminal case. I think the SEC would be very interested in that. All 8 attorneys are aback, whispering urgently to another. Marcus looks panicked. Within minutes, the courtroom speakerphone activates. A professional female articulation comes through. This is Director Patricia Morgan, SEC Enforcement Division. Am I speaking with Judge Frank Caprio? Yes, Director Morgan. Thank you for democracy my call. I have you on speakerphone in Providence Municipal Court. What can I do for you, Your Honor? Director Morgan, I accept a situation that may cry SEC attention. I'm auditioning a criminal assault case involving Marcus Sterling, son of Robert Sterling, CEO of Sterling Industries, a publicly traded NYSE company. I'm familiar with Sterling Industries. Director Morgan, Mr. Sterling is represented by 8 corporate attorneys from Morrison & Blackwell. His advance advocate just stated on the record that Sterling Industries, the publicly traded company, is paying for all 8 attorneys as part of a legal defense armamentarium for controlling family members. These actor funds are being acclimated to avert the CEO's son for drunkenly assaulting a 71-year-old veteran in a restaurant parking lot. There's a long pause. When Director Morgan speaks again, her articulation is sharp. Your Honor, let me make sure I understand. A publicly traded aggregation is using shareholder funds to pay for the CEO's son's bent accuse in a personal assault case. That's what was just declared in my courtroom? Yes, Your Honor. That's potentially securities fraud, misappropriation of corporate assets for personal account of controlling families. If Sterling Industries is using shareholder money, funds that should be used for accepted business purposes, to pay for the CEO's son's personal legal problems, that's a violation of fiduciary assignment and possibly criminal misappropriation. Marcus looks like he might be sick. The 8 attorneys are in complete panic, several of them aimlessly accounting on phones. Director Morgan continues, "Your Honor, I'm opening an immediate investigation into Sterling Industries' use of accumulated funds. We'll be issuing subpoenas for all banking records related to this legal defense fund. We'll also be advising Sterling Industries shareholders through official channels that their investments may have been misused." What happens next, Director Morgan? Your Honor, back the market opens tomorrow, and shareholders apprentice that company funds were acclimated for the CEO's son's criminal defense, Sterling Industries stock will acceptably face significant pressure. We're also freezing the company's legal defense armamentarium pending investigation. And Robert Sterling, as CEO, will face personal accountability for misuse of accumulated assets. Adjudicator Caprio asks, "Is there anything else, Director Morgan?" "Yes, Your Honor. We're coordinating with the FBI's white-collar crime division. If we find criminal intent in the abuse of shareholder funds, federal charges will be filed." The alarm ends. The attorneys is absolutely silent. Adjudicator Caprio looks at the 8 attorneys. "Gentlemen, I assume Sterling Industries will no longer be funding your representation of Mr. Sterling." Christopher Blackwell stands, his aplomb absolutely shattered. "Your Honor, we charge to argue with our applicant and with Sterling Industries corporate board about our continued representation.
Anticipation you might. Mr. Sterling, you assaulted a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran. You showed no remorse. You yawned during his affidavit, and your father's company used actor money to pay for a legal army to alarm this court. Here is your sentence. Advance in battery on an aged person, 6 months in Canton Jail, 3 years probation, 400 hours association account at veteran organizations, binding anger management, and abounding amends to Mr. Martinez for all medical costs and rehabilitation costs. Furthermore, you are ordered to address an academic acknowledgement to Mr. Martinez to be apprehended aloud in this courtroom." Marcus is abashed into silence. Oral, 2 hours, account breaks. SEC investigates Sterling Industries for misuse of actor funds. The stock market reacts immediately. Sterling Industries shares trading at $147 at market accessible comatose to $88 by market close, a 40% drop. Billions in shareholder bulk erased. The SEC releases a statement. Sterling Industries acclimated accumulated funds to pay for CEO's son's bent defense. Investigation ongoing, shareholders advised. That evening, Robert Sterling, the Billionaire CEO, holds an emergency press conference. He's visibly shaken. "I authorized the use of aggregation legal resources for my son's case. I believed it was oral my ascendancy as CEO. I was wrong. I've destroyed actor value, violated their trust, and abused my position. I'm resigning as CEO effective immediately and affairs my shares to fund agreement to the aggregation for all acknowledged fees paid." Marcus Sterling serves his 6 months. Back, released, he's different. The alms is gone. He meets James Martinez. "Mr. Martinez, I assaulted you over a parking space. I yawned during your testimony. I acclimated my father's aggregation money to pay 8 lawyers to alarm the court. I destroyed my father's career and billions in actor value. I'm sorry." James accepts his hand. "Mr. Sterling, you were 29 years old thinking your father's money fabricated you untouchable. Now you apperceive better. Money can't buy respect. Only accomplishments can. If this adventure confused you, subscribe for more moments area. Adjudicator Caprio proves no bulk of lawyers, no corporate intimidation, no billionaire father places anyone aloft justice. Remember Judge Caprio's words, you can't buy your way out of accountability. That's the legacy of Adjudicator Frank Caprio. That's the integrity of Director Morgan. That's the grace of James Martinez. Amends served. Stock crashed. Browbeating failed. Accountability restored.